Los Angeles, the automobile capital of America, ever become cycle-friendly?
This is amazing. It's like reclaiming the night, reclaiming the streets. Hello and welcome to The Travel Show with me, Krista Larwood, coming this week from sunny LA. Now, this is a town where the automobile reigns supreme, but it's also caused an awful lot of traffic. I'm here to discover what happens if you hit those roads on two wheels. Also coming up on this week's show, Ben finds out whether he has what it takes to grace the stage of the world-famous Kazakh National Ballet. Something tells me he probably hasn't.
Yes, look at this everywhere.
And Michelle's here with her regular global guide to the best things to see and do around the world. This month, she's got hundreds of elephants, thousands of eggs, and scores of Santa Clauses. But first, we're in Los Angeles, in the golden state of California. While some American cities have developed skyward, in the 20th century, LA's population spread outwards, with the region growing at one of the fastest rates in the United States. It's of course home to some of the world's most rich and famous.
And on the streets of LA, there's really only one way to be seen. In one of these.
Each week, just over the Hollywood Hills here at Supercar Sunday, hundreds of people come to park up and meet like-minded car lovers.
All of the car enthusiasts of LA seem to be turning up for this event today, including some celebrities. It's Jay Leno over there. Can you tell me a bit about your car?
My car is a 1929 Bentley. It's a Speed 6. You really can't get anywhere without a car. Like the subway here goes a mile. It goes like a mile or a mile and a half.
So you've got no choice.
Go from here to like where that guy is.
Supercar Sunday was started over a decade ago by Dustin Troyan.
So from what I understand, Los Angeles in particular is kind of all about the car.
When you think cars, you think Los Angeles, hands down. Cool car capital of the world. In certain areas, it's not uncommon for the average household to have well over 5 or 6 cars.
So what makes LA such a great place to drive a car?
You have beautiful mountain canyon roads. We're on Mulholland right now. Long sweeping roads. The infrastructure's there to enjoy driving. And in LA, everybody drives. LA is a sprawling city. You know, nobody in LA walks.
But some feel that this love affair with the automobile has reached a tipping point, and that there should be easier and safer ways to get around, such as the bicycle.
I've come down to Venice Beach. This is a fantastic, safe place to cycle because they have these wide, dedicated lanes. Unfortunately, that's not the case when you head into downtown.
Bicycle traffic deaths in California are among the highest in the country, and many cyclists fear that they will be involved in one of the 20,000 hit and runs seen on the LA roads each year. But things may be about to change. Mike Bonin was one of the council members responsible for voting in a new plan this summer. It hopes to ease congestion and introduce hundreds of miles of new cycle lanes.
One of the things that we need to do is make cycling safer. This is a city where folks should be cycling a lot more. It's relatively flat and it's always pleasant weather, and yet folks don't feel safe cycling here. Usually when we make transportation decisions in Los Angeles, it's all been about the single occupancy vehicle. It's all been how fast can that car get through an intersection.
Can you tell me about some of the plans that are afoot to make a difference in the future?
We've created what we call our Mobility Plan 2035, which is going to allow us to make our transportation and our planning decisions based on a range of different options.
But while conditions may be set to improve a little for cyclists in the city, they've grown accustomed to dangerous roads over decades. This has set the scene for an unlikely but thriving cycling community, united by a desire to experience Los Angeles safely on two wheels.
The group ride phenomenon in Los Angeles is based out of the safety in numbers principle. Our roads are completely hostile to pedestrians and cyclists. And you know, if you're in a group with a couple hundred people, car drivers will see you at that point.
Don Ward played a key role in starting LA's group cycle rides in 2004. He now leads a ride called the Wolfpack Hustle from his LA studio, where he prints up merchandise and memorabilia.
The group ride scene started with Midnight Riders. 8 people showed up for the first Midnight Riders ride, and by 2006, it had grown so massive, it was about 2,000 people that were riding.
Don created a Midnight Riders website as a forum for people to organise their own rides. Soon it had spawned 3 or 4 rides happening in the city each night. An all-female cycling group called the She-Wolf Attack Team met via this website.
Every night of the week there's like a ride listed, and they're mostly party rides, which is, you know, it's like very social. And a lot of club rides like SWAT sort of graduated from that, where it was like, oh, we still want to go out and see the city at night, but like maybe we want to get a better workout and less partying.
So we've got a night ride to go on tonight? Yeah. Can I join you? Yeah. This is amazing. It's like reclaiming the night, reclaiming the streets.
Part of the reason we ride at night is because there's less cars out. Most people have gotten home from work by the time we start riding. So with a group the size of SWAT, we can sort of take a whole lane, and we're traveling almost as fast as a car in traffic.
This has been amazing, but I think I'm going to let you guys go. Thank you so much, SWAT, you're awesome. That was insane. It was so amazing. The main thing was that we could really take over the street and everybody felt really safe, despite the fact there were kind of almost as many cars as you might get during the daytime. There's something really special about the group ride. I was well into it, but I think that was enough for me.
Whether or not the new plans lead to Angelenos leaving their cars at home remains to be seen. But from what I've found from my experience on bikes here, cycling seems set to go from strength to strength.
And if you're thinking of heading to LA anytime soon, here are some travel show tips you might find useful.
If all the glamour and celebrity of the classic tourist hotspots has you craving something more cerebral, Los Angeles has plenty of places to get you thinking. If it's art you're looking for, the Museum of Contemporary Art and the County Museum of Art both have plenty to offer. But the talk of the town is The Broad, a contemporary art gallery recently opened after 5 years in the making. And the Huntington has a vast collections of books and art set in the grounds of spectacular botanical gardens. From your Los Angeles base, you're far from stuck in an urban sprawl. In a single day, it's possible to be relaxing on Venice Beach in the morning and skiing on one of the nearby mountainsides by the afternoon. Or if you really want to get away from it all, Joshua Tree National Park is just a few hours' drive away. An hour from the mainland by boat is Catalina Island, a good day trip option for those looking to escape the city crowds. You can reach the island by one of several daily boat departures and snorkel in its protected waters. But for most, a trip to Los Angeles wouldn't be complete without some of the classic movie sites. Don't miss places like the Hollywood Walk of Fame and Mann's Chinese Theatre. And of course, set aside some time to grab that coveted spot for the perfect selfie with the Hollywood sign. But beware, Los Angeles sees 6.5 million international tourists each year, and many more from here within the US, so expect company.
Now it's time for our weekly travel update.
An end to the mobile roaming charges for travellers in the EU was declared with a new law from the European Parliament, set to come into force in 2017. Nationals from EU countries travelling to another destination within the EU will only have to pay the same prices as they would at home for their mobile usage while abroad. In Rome, these tourists welcome the move.
We must pay a lot of money to get into the internet to chat with our families or our friends. It's good if there are no more charges.
To eliminate roaming charges. Yeah, I'm sure it's a great idea if we don't have to pay for roaming. That sounds good.
Fog caused serious disruption to flights across Europe this week. On Monday, 10% of departures from London's Heathrow Airport were delayed, and it was a similar story in other parts of the continent. Many flights were diverted and passengers stranded. Forecasters said it was unusual for so many airports to be affected at the same time. In Chile, people came to witness that even in the most hostile of environments in the Atacama Desert, spectacular plants can flourish. The world's so-called driest desert sprang to life with a sea of flowers after heavy rainfalls in March and August. One day saw as much rain as the desert normally gets in 14 years. The phenomenon usually takes place once every 5 to 7 years, but this is the desert's second blooming in 12 months, the first time that's happened since records began. Officials from one of Italy's most popular sacred sites and tourist attractions, the Sistine Chapel, have announced that attempts to protect its priceless Michelangelo frescoes have had success. Since new measures have been put in place, levels of carbon dioxide from the chapel's thousands of daily visitors that have been threatening the frescoes have been halved. And as revelers around the world celebrated Halloween, Mexico celebrated the Day of the Dead. A parade in Mexico City saw a ghoulish march of the Walking Dead, as well as Catrinas, with women and men adorned in full skull makeup. The annual festival traditionally remembers departed relatives and friends, and has become a celebration recognised around the world.
Still to come on The Travel Show.
Benjamin Zan's in a spin in Kazakhstan as he samples some high culture on a low budget.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. Oh, yes. Yes.
And we've got your global guide to things that you can see and do around the world, so get your suitcase ready.
The Travel Show, your essential guide wherever you're headed.
Hello, I'm Michelle Yana-Chan, your global guide with top tips on the world's best events in the coming month. Ahead, hundreds of elephants, thousands of eggs, and scores of Santa Clauses. But first, wrap up warm for Japan's festival on December 2nd and 3rd. This small town near Tokyo hosts a Yomatsuri, or night festival, dating back more than 300 years. There are fireworks, street entertainers and musicians, as well as food stalls serving hot sake. The highlight is an evening parade, which leaves the Chichibu Shrine at 7 p.m. 6 gigantic floats are decorated with painted carvings and flowers, illuminated with lanterns, and accompanied by drummers. Question: what do 5,030 eggs make? Answer: one big omelette. In Louisiana in the USA, a procession of chefs will crack thousands of eggs as they prepare to cook up a storm in a gigantic 12-foot skillet. The giant omelette celebration of Abbeville takes place this year on November 7th and 8th. The dish is shared among the public free of charge, although most agree this is more like scrambled eggs than a fluffy omelette. Across to Thailand, where the Surin Elephant Roundup takes place in Isan, in the east of the country. Beginning on November 21st, the two-day event at Sin Narong Stadium showcases the physical strength and skills of these trained domestic elephants, including a tug-of-war between the elephants and the army. Hundreds of animals and their trainers take part, which also sees the elephants paint pictures and play polo. It's not all palm trees and tropical cocktails in the Caribbean this month, as Pirates Week takes over the Cayman Islands. It kicks off on November 12th. There's a mock pirate invasion with vintage sailing vessels attacking Georgetown Harbour to capture the governor. There's also music, street dancing and fireworks lasting through November 22nd. Turkey's whirling dervishes. It's a striking spectacle of dizzying speeds, with long white gowns billowing open. And once a year, the Mevlana festival takes place in the middle of December. Over 1 million people head to Konya, the site of the mausoleum of Mevlana, the great Sufic saint who taught awareness of God through mystical dance. A Across Europe, some of the loveliest places to be during December's Advent season are the continent's provincial towns, where Christmas markets take over churches, streets and squares. Warm up with hot spiced glühwein, there'll be street parades and concerts. Some locations have ice rinks and ice sculptures, and there'll be nativity plays, carol singing and arts and crafts stalls. And continuing the spirit of Christmas, in Maine, in the USA, the town of Sunday River is hosting Santa's Sunday on December 6th. Hundreds of Santas shoot down the lower slopes of South Ridge. Perhaps surprisingly, there are a few rules. Santas must wear a red hat with a white pom-pom, a red jacket, red pants, and a Santa beard, naturally. That's my global guide this month. Let me know what's happening in the place where you live or where you love. We're on email and across social media. Until next time, happy traveling.
Well, to end this week, we're off to Kazakhstan. If you were watching last week, you might remember seeing Ben Zan taking to the mountains on horseback there. Well, this week we decided to get him to do something a little more cultural and thought a spot of ballet was in order.
During the heyday of the former Soviet Union, cut-price access to the arts was a cornerstone of political policy. The argument was that the masses deserved to be uplifted, even if many of the shops behind the Iron Curtain were half empty. 25 years on, here in the Republic of Kazakhstan, Soviet control may have gone, but that idea of affordable access to things like opera and ballet lives on.
Kazakhstan is a quickly changing country, but a relic of its former days and a surprisingly cheap yet classy night out can still be had right in the centre of the city.
I'm talking about the Abay Theatre here in Almaty. Its stage plays host to both operas and ballets. But despite such high-class entertainment, tickets here start at just £2. That's less than $5. Mukhtar Kaldayekov has been conducting here for over 20 years.
It will be possible to buy ticket. More people can go, enjoy music here. And you feel music and feel good feeling. We have operas and ballet, classic ballets. We see opera, classic like Puccini, Bohème, La Bohème.
Despite the low price tag, they don't put on second-rate shows here. Rafael Orazov is a ballet principal dancer, and he's got some serious game.
So when did you start doing ballet?
When I was 4 years. I like ballet, I like dance. When I dance, I feel very good. I'm very happy. I get positive emotion.
Does Kazakhstan have a good reputation around the world for its ballet?
It's very old school. We have very good history because our teachers study ballet in Moscow and Russia, and Moscow Academy, and the best ballet, Bolshoi Theater and Mariinsky Theater in St. Petersburg.
Now, I'm not much of a dancer, but when you get offered the chance to learn some moves from the pros, well, who can resist that?
Yes.
All right.
Leg, open leg.
Yes, look at this. Look at this.
And not only did I not have the muscles for it, my body simply did not want to bend the way it needs to.
Wow. 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 Okay, here we go. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Oh, yes. Yes.
I suspect I'm probably starting about 20 years too late to take to the stage here.
Like that. Yes.
But that doesn't stop me wanting to spend a couple of quid to sit and watch the experts do their thing.
Do you know what kisel is?
Rather than go it alone, I'm tagging along with Dinara Karkabayeva.
Can we try one of those?
Yeah, sure.
And, in keeping with our cheap night out, we've met at a Kazakh canteen.
So how much is this?
We're paying about 2,000 tenge, which is about £2.5 per person.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
For a lot of food.
For a lot of food.
Right.
Oh my gosh, I can't even lift it.
Combined with our ballet tickets, our evening's total is just £5.
Obviously ballet is a beautiful form of dance, but is dance itself a big part of Kazakh culture?
Dance has always been in Kazakh culture. It's just this more kind of our more traditional understanding of what ballet is and all the influence that came from Russia. A lot of them are a mix of traditional Kazakh music and Kazakh tales and legends.
Wow, this is impressive. I am most definitely underdressed.
Yeah, we both are.
The Abay Theatre is a beautiful and grand building, designed by Soviet architects just before the Second World War. It turns out we've come on a pretty quiet night, but despite the small numbers, the dancers still put on quite the show.
These guys are good, but I have no idea what I'm like.
Some amazing dancers have trained and performed here at the Abay Theatre, and many of them have gone on to perform with the Bolshoi or the Mariinsky Ballet in Russia. And seeing the performance tonight, it's not hard to see why. All in all, it's been a fantastic way to spend the evening without breaking the bank, and a great way to end my trip here to Kazakhstan.
So how did you like it?
It was good, yeah. It seemed like something extremely dramatic was happening, but I'm not quite sure what that was.
Yeah, you need to work on your Russian then.
Okay, I will do. Well, thank you for taking me.
Yeah, no problem.
Well, that's all we've got time for on this week's show. Coming up next week... We're in New York's Harlem, where more and more locals are being priced out of the area and church congregation numbers are starting to dwindle. We discover how tourists are coming to the rescue.
Today, you know, with so many changes in the neighborhood and churches are struggling to maintain their congregation, we welcome visitors to Harlem.
So do join us then if you can. And in the meantime, don't forget you can keep up with us while we're out on the road in real time by signing up to our social media feeds, details of which are on the screen now. But for now, from me, Krista Larwood, and the rest of the Travel Show team here in LA, it's goodbye.